Cobra Kai and Outer Banks are some of the most entertaining shows I've been able to grow up with, more or less. The high-stakes karate drama in Cobra Kai and the high-stakes drama of all the pogues trying to find the gold was exactly what my 14-year-old life was missing. I first started watching Cobra Kai after my first breakup my freshman year in high school. And then I started watching Outer Banks about a year after the hype fell off because that's how I have to do it. I can't jump on the trends when they're actually trending. I gotta do it like a year after so I seem like I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. Low-key, the first seasons of the two shows got me hooked. Cobra Kai with its 80s nostalgic references combined with the most badass name for a dojo. Outer Banks with its ensemble of characters that bounce off each other in a way that actually feels real. I mean, like, these are the things that if you like the show, these have got to be on your list of reasons. But there are several reasons why one of these shows is more well-renowned than the other, and just generally kind of seen as more cringe than the other show.
I'm out. You think I'm not watching this!
And in this video, I'll be talking about exactly that. Why Cobra Kai works and Outer Banks doesn't. I'll be diving into the flaws and strengths of both shows and telling you why, in my opinion, Cobra Kai just works better. Now, the first thing you may be thinking is, what do I mean by works better? I feel like it's important to set the terms of the video before you go on, but I say works better in the terms as overall engagement to the story. As an audience member, it is the job of the piece of media that you're consuming to engage you in a certain way, shape, or form. It's like all forms of media have some way to engage the viewer. And with Cobra Kai, they engage the viewer through like fight scenes, visuals, audio effects, you know, like things of that nature. And then in Outer Banks, it's like treasure hunting, mystery solving, high stakes drama, that type of deal. But at the end of the day, for both shows, the core appeal is these things. So it's very crucial that these things are executed well and in a way that can engage different audiences. But without further ado, I'm going to talk about both of these shows and then I'm going to talk about them in tandem, and then I will finally answer the question of what works and what doesn't. We might as well start from the beginning of Cobra Kai. We start with a flashback, paying homage to the original Karate Kid that came out in 1984. Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence fighting in a karate tournament scored 2-2. Next point wins. Now, if you hadn't seen the original Karate Kid movies, like I hadn't before clicking on the show, then this would be just meaningless exposition to you. But it actually sets the stage for the start of the show. And we flash forward to present day after we see that Daniel LaRusso wins with a crane kick to our second place guy, Johnny Lawrence, not doing so well. He does housework and he gets treated like shit to the point that he actually has had enough and calls this lady a bitch.
We'll figure this out, all right? Just quit bitching at me.
What did you just call me?
No. I didn't call her a bitch. I said she was bitching at me. You're firing me because of that bitch?
And then we get introduced to Johnny's Ecuadorian neighbor, Miguel, and he's just kind of racist to him and tells him to fuck off. Cut to later that night. Johnny's getting pizza at this end market style gas station. Miguel's bullies show up and start harassing him. Johnny has no desire to get involved until one of the bullies bumps his car, but then he kicks all their asses, thus saving Miguel. The police show up to break up the fight and Johnny gets arrested for assaulting minors, thus giving the police in this universe more accolades than the Outer Banks police throughout the entire show. And Johnny inexplicably gets out of jail and Miguel asks him to teach him how to fight.
Well, if I just knew a little bit of what you knew, then I would be
Forget it. I don't do karate anymore.
Johnny says no and goes inside to see who got him out of jail. His rich stepdad, who gives him one last check to buy him out of his life.
Told your mama I'd take care of you always, but in this case, I think even she would cut me some slack.
But he rips it up and says,
I'd rather be homeless and take money from you.
oh, but what about that other guy? You know, the one who won the karate tournament. The one who did the crane kick, you know, what about that guy? Yeah, Daniel LaRusso. He's actually great. He's chopping prices. He's running the biggest auto dealership in the valley. Daniel's daughter and her friends accidentally did a hit and run on Johnny's car.
Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going?
Daniel, unaware that his daughter was involved, still offers to fix the car for free for old time's sake.
It's on the house.
No way, man. I don't need your charity.
No. You be doing me a favor. Our guys aren't used to working on a car like this.
Johnny says, nah, don't worry about it. But then Daniel tells him that the cost will be more than the car is worth. So Johnny eventually caves and lets Daniel fix it for free, paying for his car damage with a little light taunting by Daniel.
This is a guy whose ass you kicked.
Listen, it was a really close match, but if you want to get technical, I kicked his face. I'm just busting your chops.
And this brings me into the first thing that I think Cobra Kai does very well. It goes off the established notion in the Valley that there are people very, very overly invested in karate to the point that it's a spectator sport.
Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight? Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight! Johnny, you're a creep! Get him a body bag! Yeah!
And thus justifying it becoming a flex 30 years later to your coworkers.
I kicked his face.
Karate's still a very big deal in the Valley, and the show shows us through subtext. But Daniel says something that makes Johnny get that check out of the trash that his stepdad gave him, get off his ass, talk to Miguel, and become his sensei, reopening Cobra Kai and ending the first episode, leaving the viewer wanting more. Over the course of the season, we get introduced to new characters that would come up to be a part of the main cast, like Robbie Keane, Johnny's degenerate son that would eventually take up karate with Daniel LaRusso to get back at his dad for neglecting him all his life.
Like you're one to talk. Don't try to play dad now. You're a pathetic loser.
Samantha LaRusso, Daniel's daughter who dated Miguel's bully Kyler, who tried to assault her in a movie theater, so she dumped him for Miguel. And she learned karate from Mr. Miyagi himself when she was young, but she doesn't do any of it until she picks it back up at the end of the season. Eli Moskowitz and Dimitri Alexopoulos were introduced in tandem as friends of Miguel. And the most notable of the two, Eli, flipped the script and became the Hawk midway through season 1, where he joined Cobra Kai. Dimitri tried to join Cobra Kai, but did not have any desire at all to fight. Like, Dimitri's kind of annoying, but you can tell that the writers, like, intended for him to be annoying.
Hello there. I saw on your Facebook it's your birthday. Happy birthday! I don't normally converse with the opposite sex. Well, except for my mom.
Whereas when a character's annoying in Outer Banks, you just want to strangle the writers because why did they write them like this?
So it's all right.
Go into it.
Having fun?
Anyways, I'm getting off track here. We were also introduced to Amanda, Daniel's wife, Aisha, a fellow student of Cobra Kai that joined pretty early on with Miguel's mom and grandma. His dad isn't present, so Johnny kind of fills that role throughout the first season, and it makes Robbie jealous because, you know, he's his actual son who got neglected by him. This inciting incident incites a series-long, almost, rivalry that you can fully empathize with both sides, and I found myself actively switching sides throughout the show, not knowing who to side with, until they ended the rivalry with a fight that almost ended like the first, but they both backed down and apologized. I won't spoil any more major plot moments, so you'll have to watch the actual show if you want to find out anything else. But it goes towards my overall point. The show has a nice way of developing arcs and developing their characters, and starting and concluding arcs for their characters once they make them, rather than forgetting they exist. Season 1 covers a very real-world topic of bullying and how to combat it. I know it looks like a meme, I don't care, it's a good font. And behind the strike first, strike hard, no mercy tagline, there was Johnny Lawrence teaching these kids that he brought in confidence. This manifested in their top student, Miguel, showing the balance that Johnny and Daniel both do not have early on in the show. In the beginning, season 1, early seasons, Miguel is probably like most of us guys in high school. Puberty hitting like a train, fighting for popularity in girls. I mean, I can't lie and say rewatching the first season while making this didn't feel like sophomore year of high school. And that has a lot to do with the fact that the actors were very close in age to the actual characters. I mean, Xolo Maridueña, who played the 16-year-old Miguel Diaz, was only 17 when he did season 1, as well as Jacob Bertrand, who played Eli. Tanner Buchanan, who played Robbie, was 19, and Sam was a little older than that, but she was still only 21. But these actors were close enough to their ages to play them believably. The adults play their parts, and I mean, they play them well, and it gives me a good segue to talk about what they're up to. Even though Johnny has students, he throughout the season struggles to keep his business afloat, and Daniel becomes increasingly concerned that Cobra Kai is coming back, and of course, the classic Johnny-Daniel rivalry comes back in brief spurts throughout the season. But over time, they become more frequent, but never less funny. They're just kind of two, like, older guys butting heads. It's really, like, nice to see. It's kind of funny, especially in the newer seasons.
Just you. Biggest pussy I ever met.
You call me pussy again, you see what happens.
Called you a pussy 1,000 times, you don't do shit.
But season 1 carries on with Miguel learning karate, and Robbie being also able to learn karate once he finds out about Johnny being a father to someone not him. Miguel and Robbie met for the first time. At this point, Miguel was dating Sam, and Robbie was with Sam. Miguel, having a few drinks in him, gets physical, and Robbie says,
Hey, man, you want to try that again? Hey, man, you want to try that again?
Now, you might say that's corny as hell. And that's just like Outer Banks. And I would have to say you'd be right. But hear me out. But the beef eventually spills over into the All-Valley tournament.
Kick ass. You're Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai!
Miguel beats everyone in the tournament, seemingly with ease, fair and square, but someone else was doing well. Robbie, who was fighting unaffiliated because at this point, Robbie didn't tell Daniel that he was Johnny's son, and with Daniel and Johnny being at odds, Daniel just kind of felt like Robbie was using him to get back at his dad, which he was, but you see Miguel's dark side as he basically says to Sam that he's going to fuck up Robbie in the finals, and then does it. He fights dirty along with Hawk, who gets disqualified. And Robbie needed it the most, having his back injured by Hawk and cheap shot by Miguel. Daniel came to coach him. Despite the tides turning and Daniel senseiing Robbie, Miguel, capitalizing on his injury, lands the final point on him, cementing Cobra Kai as the top dojo in the valley, which, as we've clearly seen, is a big deal. But in the very end, a man we've never seen comes into frame. And only if you've seen the Karate Kid movies would you know that this man is John Kreese, Johnny Lawrence's former sensei. And that's how season 1 ends. A charming beginning to a story with a world built with fully established characters. Granted, they were aided by some of these characters being long-running, but for all the new ones, they fit very well into the world, making for a fun season of television to watch. There's this theory going around that kid on the ground, Bert, is actually the most powerful character in the show, and the only reason that the people in the show are spared from the full extent of his power is because he's holding back, because he would literally kill anyone there. And I like to hold that theory as canon. So while I was making this video, which, let's be honest, this is taking a long ass time to make, but while I was making this video, I stumbled across this TikTok. It is basically this person visiting all of the Cobra Kai sets, and guess where? Atlanta/Marietta, Georgia. Yeah, that's only 4.5 hours away from where I live. So we going. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the fun spot. Let's go inside. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, dude, this is it. This is it right here. We got this thing. This was, Robbie tried to talk to Kenny. I think this is where Miguel and Sam had their little 3 throws for cancer.
Actually, I was just fucking.
Hey, all right, hit it. All right, one more. Green. Hey, this the prize room where Chris was working and where Miguel and Sam shared the octopus. Now, as you can see, if you go in here, there's no actual octopus on the wall as there was in the actual show. Pretty crazy. People come in here often, like recording because they recorded Cobra Kai here. Yeah, because I remember season 3 they had this room exactly in there actually. Yeah, pretty sweet. On to the next spot. All right, we're at LaRusso Auto. Oh yeah, that's the garage. I wonder if it's the same inside or if just the exterior shots were gotten here. Let's see what we've got in here. Is this the same as the interior? Oh, it's not. It's not the same at all. Yeah, it's not the same at all. Yeah, probably not. They must have got a different interior, but the exterior stays the same. All right, well, that was a really brief one, but shit, on to the next one. All right, gang, little checkpoint for a random Cobra Kai fact. Did you know that in Cobra Kai Season 4, when Robbie loses the All Valley, he curls his toes when he gets hit? That's it. That's the whole thing. All right, we're at the playground. It's just as I remember it. Tried not to get the kids in frame as much as possible. This is that open field where Hawk and Hawk and Bert were sparring over here, right behind here. This is where Aisha decided to have her little Cobra Kai party. This is it, man. Pretty crazy. I sat where the actual actors, I'm sitting where the actual actors of the show were sitting. Or maybe they sat at that bench. Or that one. Or maybe even that one way down there. Did you not get the kids in it? No. Good. We're about to go to the roller rink right now, so we'll see you there. One more random Cobra Kai fact. The actors that played Hawk and Miguel started their own podcast about a year and a half ago, and I've been watching it consistently.
Yeah, so something in America's food needs to change.
Roller rink, Cascade. Get it, get it, get it, get it. I wonder, wait, hold on. Stay right here while I go up to the thing. So it seems like the place is closed, but still the exterior shot. I think that's pretty cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to pull up on the LaRusso house. It's literally called the Villa Flora Cobra Kai Mansion. It's over there, but it said this house was featured on the hit show Cobra Kai. Wow. It's a sign. Dude, like that. Wow. Wow. It's like unreal. Dude, this is where he walked up. It's actually crazy. If you look inside, you could see like the set. Obviously the door's locked, but look at that. You see the goddamn little middle section with a garden. It's low-key a beautiful house. Like, you see the goddamn little middle section with a garden. It's low-key a beautiful house. Like, and let's take a look on the exterior. Like, holy moly, man! This is the walkway. You know what I'm saying? This is the walkway where Robbie was like, I just need to walk it off. Oh, there it is. Wow. Like, wow. But this shit is like huge, man. I would really just want to I would love to see inside, but unfortunately we can't. But dude, this is cool enough as is, man. We are pulling up on the Cobra Kai dojo right now. This is probably the location I'm most hyped for, because bro, this is like the place with the memories. All right, we are at the dojo. Oh shoot. Bro, this is pretty crazy, man. This is the actual dojo doors. This is obviously not a dojo at the moment. It's the collective, but still pretty crazy. This right over here, this is where Johnny and Miguel, this is where they sat, eating that pizza. This is where Miguel got beat up right there. Shit is crazy, man. Like 10, 15 video minutes ago, I was just talking about this, and now I'm actually at the location, bro. Like, that's where his car was parked. Like, it's all right here. It's really insane when you think about it. Like, Cobra Kai! Probably gonna wrap it up for this section. It's been the intermission for Cobra Kai. Let's get into the Outer Banks section. I unfortunately don't have the same type of Outer Banks merchandise or Outer Banks like set connections like I do with Cobra Kai. I would just kind of really like the show. The Outer Banks pilot starts with the narration from John Booker Rutledge that will probably have your eyes rolling because you've heard it a million times.
The Outer Banks, paradise on earth.
Compare this to the starting moment of Cobra Kai where you had to fill in some gaps. The narration here lays out everything for the audience, and for a mystery show that's about solving things, that's personally just a little patronizing because like we can figure out this basic info without this scene here. Anyways, the episode continues with the introduction of the Pogues. Kiara, aka Key, Pope, and JJ. No full name there, just JJ. I looked up how old these guys were to compare it to the Cobra Kai cast, and yeah, the youngest lead actor in Outer Banks was Pope, played by Jonathan Davis, and he was 19 when recording season 1. Kiara, played by Madison Bailey, was 20, along with Rudy Palmco, who played JJ. The oldest cast member is John B., played by Chase Stokes, who was 27 fucking years old recording season 1. That's older than his co-star Drew Starkey, who played an older character. Carrying on with the pilot, Hurricane Agatha is getting ready to hit the Outer Banks. And conveniently, this is just before Child Services is about to visit John B.'s house because his father had been lost at sea for 9 months and his mom left when he was 3. But he's basically at home alone and has been for months, just partying and doing what I imagine most 16-year-olds would do in a house like that. So I'll give the writers props where credit is due. But Hurricane Agatha hit, and these crazy kids want to get out in the storm. So they hit up a bit of surfing, and it's a fun vibe, but the next day, we can see how much the hurricane actually fucked up the town's infrastructure. Like, it's got these kids gearing up to go out on the boat until they hit a sandbar, and they find a whole ass sunken boat. So they see what's down there, and they find some keys to a motel room, and they know where it is, so they head there, which, you know, convenient they know where it is, but I mean. Meanwhile, we've got this guy missing, he's actually dead, and his wife concerned about it. And she's talking to this guy, Ward Cameron, a seemingly wealthy man because he's got generators during the island-wide power outage during the hurricane. We were also introduced to 2 of his daughters, Wheezy and Sarah. Sarah's saving mice, and Wheezy's asking for Wi-Fi, so off the bat, after a hurricane, these 2 sound like some spoiled kids. But back to the Pogues. They're at the motel, and they use the key for the room after JJ drops a pretty funny line.
This is it. Okay.
Housekeeping.
They go through the room to find a few little details of who was in the room, but most importantly, they find money and a gun. But then the police show up to the room and they barely get out of there without being noticed. And honestly, they should have been noticed, and this goes to show you that the police don't do jack shit. But these 2 dumbass cops don't think to suspect the 2 random kids just chilling outside an abandoned motel, pretty much a crime scene at this point. Anyways, I digress. There are 2 sides of the island, the kook side and the pogue side. And personally, the kook side, being 2 syllables away from the Ku Klux Klan, is on the nose enough. But then they had to make it even worse by having 2 white kooks jump a black pogue over something he didn't even do. And they're mad at JJ for pulling a gun.
They put a gun to your head, bro.
But if you look closely, JJ is nowhere to be found when this interaction occurs. Meaning that the reason bro got jumped was because he was from the same side of the island as JJ.
Dude, I don't owe you shit, Pogue.
I don't know about anyone else, but on my first viewing, I genuinely thought he said, "Nigga, I don't owe you shit, Pogue." And I thought this was about to be a whole different show. This is like episode 3, and I genuinely thought that this was about to be some like race heavy, like white people saying the N-word type show. He obviously doesn't actually say that, he says dude, but I think it's funny that I probably thought that because of how much of an allegory for racism I thought this was on my first viewing. But a little while later, the Pogues start throwing a party for both the Kooks and the Pogues on their side of the island.
Kind of weird when on TV we see people dying and they just kind of sit there, but in actuality they would be shitting and farting for the storm.
Not gonna lie, that was kind of funny. And after this, we get a scene of the chief of police learning about a ship called the Royal Merchant before we cut back to the party where JJ offers a drink to Sarah. Sarah's all like, nah, because she has a boyfriend named Topper who for the whole show is pretty much just strung along by Sarah while she gets that John D.
Just give me that John D already.
But anyways, he gets between the two, and they start a little friendly banter until Topper spills the drink on JJ. JJ, of course, wants to fight then and there, which if you've seen the show, you know that's how he is, but I mean, this sets up his character pretty early on. He's headstrong, and he wants to stand up for himself. This is a consistent character trait that they stick to throughout the show, and I gotta give him props for that. But it's a lot more than I can say about some of these other characters, man.
What was that?
You. Topper says something that riles up John B, and now the two of them are going at it until Topper hits some wrestling ad takedown and starts drowning John B. And all his friends and Topper's girlfriend are like, ah, what do we do? And that's when JJ gets the genius idea of...
Yeah, you know what that is. You move, Broski.
I simply have no words. Like how does a situation even escalate to that point? Like where you're like, you know what'll solve this here? I can't push him. I can't kick him in the balls. I can't... You could say JJ's a dumb teenager who does dumb shit, but like, as someone who is a dumb teenager, I would say I wouldn't do something like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm wilder for that. You know, I'm going to ask fellow teenagers if they would do what JJ did in this scenario, giving them all of the details. Roll the clip of me like trying to get interviews from people and then being like, fuck no.
I don't think so.
All right, but word. So I have my 4 friends here from college that are going to answer the question in the same way because, I mean, they're about as far from the age of the characters as JJ was or his actor was. So, I mean, we're gonna run it. I am here with
Kelly,
Tyson,
Dolan,
Corinne.
Almost winner of my Lunchly game show. People say that she should have won and that it was a robbery because her pizza was done first, but I thought that Josh's pizza was better. But if you guys in the comments are willing to give her the win, I'm willing to give her the win too. So my question to you is, I'm gonna have to set the stage for this, but picture yourself on a beach. You're partying with a group of your friends, 3 of which are your best friends ever. And then you actually, even better than the best friends that won. That one best friend, you start getting in a fight. That best friend that's fighting now is losing pretty bad. You're just gonna stay on the side, like letting fights on battles heavy, but it's not getting better. And then you're on the beach, right? This other guy that's fighting your best friend starts drowning. And earlier on that day, you found a gun. So you have a gun in your pocket. Knowing all of that, would you put the gun to the back of the person's head that's drowning your best friend?
No, I would not.
I think I would.
How much stronger is he than me? Like,
well, you said earlier, you said to put it behind his head. That's a bad decision if you're going to use the gun. So I would move to the side and then shoot him so I don't, like, collateral my friend.
Okay. And why?
My friend is drowning, man. And, like, I think they would stop if I, like, had a gun. And I was like, hey, I have a gun.
Because I don't want to get in trouble by the law. I got a career, you know?
I would try to get him off some other way. Is it a crime?
Is it a crime to threaten somebody with a gun? I think it is definitely a crime to threaten somebody with a gun.
He's, like, drowning my friend. That's illegal.
Real. Covering up a crime. Not covering up, but, like...
It's like playground rules.
Yeah. You know, like, you pay for a crime, but the crime was to punish an even bigger crime. There you fucking go. No. Fuck the digital footprint, man. No, but on some real shit, though, I probably wouldn't pull the gun. I mean, like, I would definitely, like, just try to tackle him off. Even if I thought I wasn't going to beat him, like, it's a fucking guy. Like, you ain't got to resort to the gun. Which is why I did this whole interview thing, to see if people agreed with me. It was like a 50-50 split. You two said you were going to kill him.
Kill?
Well, you said you'd kill him. You said you'd pull a gun. But
it's an intimidation tactic.
Oh, you said you'd pull the gun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Kelly did too, right?
Yeah, after I got more details.
Oh.
It's just you.
So everybody would pull the gun?
Yes.
So there you have it. JJ was fully in the right to pull the gun. JJ gives the gun a few test shots in the air to make sure it works.
Everyone listen up! Get the hell up on side of the island!
You might want to check where those land. Those were right above your head. But anyways, after that, everyone flees that side of the island, and we cut to the next day where the sheriff comes to John B's house because he's been living unaccompanied. He says she's willing to look the other way if he helps her. She asks if she saw the wreckage in the marsh. They of course did. But he lies and says he doesn't know about it. She says it's best if he didn't and to stay out of the marsh. John B agrees, but his friends are able to convince him to go anyway, thinking there's actual money involved, and in JJ's words,
you don't see rich kids going to foster care, do you?
they need oxygen tanks to dive, so John B steals some from Ward Cameron's boat, the Druthers, where he runs into Sarah Cameron. This is where we see the two clearly having some chemistry, but it's not really addressed, which was good, you know? I liked it so much better when the romantic scenes were like this because it was like the actors who played Sarah and John B got together in real life while also being an on-screen couple. It became like horrid to watch. Like season 2 is literally just John B and Sarah are in love. Oh, and some other stuff happens too. Once they get the oxygen tanks to the marsh, they look at the oxygen levels and see that there's only enough in one tank for one person to go down. Why did he not check the levels? Like, they did it so easily. I don't know why he didn't want all 4 of them to go down, but John B volunteers to dive, and Pope explains that he's got to do a safety stop 10 feet down or he'll die from the bends. He kisses John B before he goes down and he dives, but then the police roll up, so John B has to stay underwater while they try to search the boat. And he's running out of oxygen. Whoa, is he gonna be okay? It's only the first episode of a long-running franchise, but yeah, he's fine. The cops leave in time for him to come up without being seen. They see a boat with these 2 guys on it. Earlier, they had talked to the sheriff, saying they wanted to help with the search, all suspicious-like. So you already know they're up to some shit. And sure enough, they start chasing them. They get away using a net to stop their boat. After this, they regroup and find a compass in the little capsule they found, and Pope's like,
Oh, wow. Yep, that's about right. Good job, everybody. We found a compass.
but John B's like, nah, gang, that's my dad's. Ending the episode. Over the course of the season, we don't meet many new characters like in Cobra Kai. The world is more or less fully established by episode 1. However, we meet the local dealer Barry, all the kids' parents, minus John B's and JJ's mom, who basically become side characters in the lives of these 16-year-olds, but who am I to judge parenting? But we rather go into the plot of the show, which is finding the gold, to put it simply. They find out these guys chasing them are after the compass, and the reason is that it leads them to the clues, that finds them to the clues, that leads them to the clues, that leads them to the clues, that leads them to the clues, and so on, about a wreckage of this old ship, the Royal Merchant, that has a ton of gold on it. And there are several other subplots that get introduced, like when Sarah and John B start dating, they involve her in their escapades. This eventually clues in her dad on what they're doing, setting him up as the running villain for the show. But at the end of the day, he's not even the most dangerous and well-known villain. Nah, that'd be Rafe. But he gets up to some stuff, and honestly, by the time of season 4 being fully out, I'd say he's the realest character throughout. And often, he saves the show, and sometimes I find myself waiting for a Rafe scene to entertain me.
Is that where she is? Is she with John B? Where the hell else would she be, huh? Unless she found some other sucker. Yeah?
And I think that has a lot to do with Drew Starkey's performance as Rafe. He just gives it his all in a way that, like, it's really vulnerable and fun to watch. And that's one more thing I want to say is, like, I may be about to dig into this show, but I still love Outer Banks. Like, that little music riff that they do when they find some, like, clue and shit, bro. Like, it's tingly, bro. Like,
This is my father's.
the concept of this show is A1. A bunch of kids on a treasure hunt would be an absolutely baller idea for a show. But that's not what this is. Now, I've watched all 4 seasons of Outer Banks, which is why I can say with full confidence that the reason this show falls flat is arguably the reason Cobra Kai could have suffered the same fate. But here it is. Why I actually think Cobra Kai works better than Outer Banks. Now, I've broken this video up into sections in part because I'm very busy with my schoolwork, and also in part to ensure that my logic stays consistent throughout the video. So this is recorded as a separate section, as several other parts of the video are. Now you may ask why I didn't put this at the beginning of the video. Well, it's pretty obvious to find out from context as you go that that's what I'm doing, but now that you've gotten, 30 minutes into the video, you've got to be at least somewhat entertained by what I say. These 2 shows are very different in tone, but when it comes to the show's dialogue and plot writing, these shows resemble each other. Over the course of both shows, the script is riddled with on-the-nose dialogue.
What was that?
You.
Overly explanatory dialogue.
This isn't about Kenny. I'm the one who lost the match. Me.
And sometimes just an overall lack of subtext. But the difference is the execution. A few minutes after I recorded the segment you're about to watch, the first time, I plugged my SD card into my PC like I usually do, and it was fucking like, you gotta reformat it, dog. You can't use this footage. Basically saying all that footage is corrupted. And not just that footage, but I'll flash one picture on screen because it's all I have of We Escaped 5, which was in the works. It was our final one at the place. I had all the footage in my camera and it's fucking gone. As well as the footage of the fucking whole last segment of the video I just recorded. So I was kind of mad when I had to do it again. So I was low-key crashing out during the recordings. But I think it's kind of funny, so I'm gonna leave some of them in. But just for the content. Is it fucking recording? Is it gonna fucking record to my SD card? Or is it gonna just decide that it's once just fucking reformat it? Like like great. Like fucking great, dude. Like great. Like I love it. Like I love it. Dude, I don't want to fucking do this again, bro. I don't want to fucking do this again, bro. Oh my god. Dude, it's like I don't even, like it's not even gonna be good because I don't even want to fucking do it now, dude, bro. Oh, I had the whole thing, and I can't. Whatever, bro. Now, I've watched my fair share of interviews about both Cobra Kai and Outer Banks, which is why I know that there's a big difference between the actors in Outer Banks and the actors on Cobra Kai. Now, even though this is a video about why one show works and the other doesn't, I don't want to compare the show's content because I feel like that wouldn't be fair. I'm simply saying that one of the shortcomings of Outer Banks is the same reason Cobra Kai has been so much better received, in my opinion. And that being the actors' intentions behind playing the roles. The actors in Outer Banks were given a script for a brand new world with brand new characters to bring to life. And you can see that they had fun with it, but it's kind of hard to closely relate to the characters because, I mean, like, there's at least a 3 to 4 year age difference between the characters being played and the actors that are playing them. Whereas for Cobra Kai, most of the actors were coming out of the stage in their life that the characters were in currently in the show. And for special cases like Dallas Dupree Young, who played Kenny, and Brandon H. Lee, who played Quan, they were actually fans of the show before coming on. Now, you might ask why that's relevant, but I mean, it's the same reason why you don't get Jack Black to play Steve in the Minecraft movie. Over anyone who has ever even played the game. Someone who has more respect for the thing that they're doing has seen this as like a show that they're actually a fan of versus like an A-list actor who is just adding this to their list of shows that they've been in. I mean, like, they're gonna read the same script 2 different ways. I feel like the main problem with Outer Banks is that the actors reading the scripts just kind of look or sound like they don't want to read what they're reading, or they're embarrassed to read it.
Hey, we gotta stick together.
But in Cobra Kai, I mean, even if the line is corny as all get out, the actor will still say it with full, genuine intention. Like, they don't care what they're saying as long as their character's in it.
You sure, Eli? No more Eli. It's time to uncage the heart.
Now, I can fully believe there that Jacob Bertrand wanted to say that line and fully thought it was badass. Versus with Madison Bailey's delivery of the line, I kind of just see it as she thought it was corny and wanted to get ahead of it by saying it all corny-like. But even if we, as the audience, are going to think the line is corny, it's the job of the actor that's playing the character to make us think that it's something that the character would actually say, even if it is corny as hell. And Cobra Kai executes that perfectly through its 6 seasons. It's a perfect homage to the 80s actors, and it sets the stage very well for all the new kids that come into the show. All the adults and the kids and the crew, they all work together in a way that makes this show feel like a loving addition to the Karate Kid trilogy that it is. While Outer Banks oftentimes, especially after the first season, feels like the same repetition of a set of mystery tropes and cliche story beats to use A-list actors to attempt to carry an average script. That's it. That's the whole thing. As you probably know, if you've watched any of my videos previous to this, this is the longest project that I've ever embarked on this channel. But I've been working on this video for like, shit. I think I started writing this video in December of 2024. And it's now April, so yeah, it's been a few months. I've been working on this for a few months, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's a new kind of style of content where it doesn't actually, you know, go that far away from what I usually do on my channel, which is like talk about media, but it does kind of go into a new territory of like, this is longer form content. I don't usually do an argument in my video. I usually just kind of keep it lighthearted, you know, keep it to the jokes, but this time I tried to actually have a logical through line that I stuck with throughout the video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say before this video ended, because I mean, I haven't approached the video making process in the way that I did this time. I kind of saw this as like a bunch of different chunks that I would put together and make it into this long form video that I made for you guys. It started out where I kind of just had the idea to make all of this in one and just make it a long review, but then I thought about going to see the sets. I thought about doing the interviews, and it basically just kind of snowballed until I was like, okay, this is gonna be like an actual project. I figured I would also edit as I go, and I never do that usually with my videos. I just kind of edit all in like either one sitting or one set of sittings, but I actually started editing the first part of the video that you saw right after I recorded it, so it was nice and fresh in my mind, and that was for every other part of the video as it went on. But I mean, like, I just haven't had much time to record with all of my college work and things like that. Every weekend almost, I'm busting my balls on this video so I can get it out to you as fast as I could. And this last portion is being recorded on April 6th, but something tells me that this video is not going to be coming out even in that same month. But if it does, I mean, like, good for me. I guess I'm pretty fast with it. This has been an extremely fun project to work on. All the way back to like, wow, it's almost been a month ago now that we went to the sets. And by the way, shout out to my friend Patrick for being a cameraman for that. And you know what? While I'm at that, shout out to everyone else who has been involved in this video making process. I have shown this video to countless people, gotten them to proof watch it over and over again. Like, even when those first few bits were being made, when this video was only 10 minutes long, I was having my girlfriend proof watch it. So shout out to her for that. Shout out to anyone else who has been proof watching my videos, because I mean, like, it really helps me out. Once again, I usually talk this much at the end of videos. I used to a lot, but I kind of stopped doing it because I realized that it decreases watch time. But I mean, now this video is going to be long as hell, so who cares about like a little few minute ramble at the end. If you guys want me to do this video that I've been thinking about, do this very in-depth long review that I've been thinking about, which is watching the entirety of Victorious as somebody who actually went to an art school, and you guys let me know in the comments. But I don't think I have that much else to say. Maybe dragging it on. I'll look into this camera so you guys know that it's not just a figment of your imagination. That was about it. I'll see you on the next one.